Hello, fabulous friends, fans, and superstars. Welcome to Synchronicity Web TV. I am your host, Nadiya Shah, and this is your moment of synchronicity. Well, I'm so excited to celebrate with you today once again, my dear friend, URSULA STOCKDER. Now, I know you've seen her here before on Synchronicity Web TV, and of course, she has brought her brilliance to Synchronicity University, and URSULA is back as part of the November 2024 speaker series. And this is a magical theme that we have going for this month. And she is the perfect person to be teaching on this topic with her love for magic and tarot and wisdom and insight and astrology and so much more. I'm so excited to talk to her about it. URSULA, welcome. Thank you for being here.
Thank you so much for having me again here. Well, I'm really happy about this theme. This theme is very interesting too. So we are going to go on speaking about Renaissance and the influence of Renaissance symbolism in the tarot cards. It's like a non-verbal communication, but it is a communication that's important. So we are going to have the kinesthetic, the posture, the pacing too of the cards, the facial expression, the eyes that are very important, how in the major arcana and even the minor arcana are looking like we have the devil with the eyes that's going inside, or we have like the star, one eye is going up and the other down, and the eyes are like yellow. So it's so important that we start seeing at the cards in a different way, because they are communicating much more than we think. And also in the Renaissance, we have to think about that images and artists were very much in touch with alchemy, with symbolism, with all kinds of, that's why they are called the Renaissance people or Renaissance men, because they were in science, they were in everything. Maybe philosophy, not that much, but there was a whole movement that started. Also, with people like thinking very much about Catholicism, and we have the Reform too, the Lutheran Reform, that many people think that Luther, well, he was this nice guy. Well, he wasn't that nice guy, but he brought some consciousness to humanity that's very important when he translated the Bible, and he made people to read the Bible. So he thought he would create a new religion like Christianity or whatever. And it wasn't that case, because he really was against also mythology and the spiritual influence. And there was this astrologer, magician, Kabbalist and alchemist that was like important. His name was Dr. Faustus. And he has this personality has influenced a lot of the Renaissance thinking and also literature, even music too. So we have like Goethe, Thomas Mann. We have the first who wrote about him was a writer called Marlowe. He made a theater a piece of him, but we're going to have a lot of these influential people that were later on were thinking. Faustus from Goethe is similar than the Cervantes for the Spaniards. So it has to do with this part that we also have in tarot or in astrology. It's the hero's journey. It's the journey. One man that's very rational. That's Faustus is supposed to be this very, very rational man, very good scientist. And he has a dialogue with God and says, well, do you know, all the science I know, all my rational mind is not enough. It's not enough. I'm really in search of something else, something deeper. And then God and the devil, that the devil is also this part we can see in the major arcana. And it has to do with this part, have a talk and says, well, I can bet you that I can make Faustus to really succumb, to really have like this contact with his own shadow. So, Dr. Faustus or Faustus, the Goethe's Faustus, there is this Thomas Mann Faustus too.
Okay, can I just ask, sorry to interrupt, Ursula, because I'm getting, I really want to know about this. So let me just clarify. Dr. Faustus is a Renaissance, but mythical figure that was conceptualized in the Renaissance. What's the connection there? Who wrote about Dr. Faustus?
He was born there. He was born during Renaissance.
So he's real.
He's real.
Okay, he's a real person. His name was Dr. Faustus, and he became fascinated with occult studies and alchemy and astrology and all of that. And so through his story, we see the hero's journey, is what you're saying.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah. Yes. Through his story, we see the hero's journey through the Faustus written by Goethe. It is the most important work of Goethe. The most important, because there.
I know you have the book there. Hold up the book. You were showing me the book earlier. Okay, there we go. Renaissance magic. Okay.
With the Renaissance magic, this guy is the story of. Well, it's part of the story. Yes, it's only part of the story. It's a very good book. There is another book also.
Mm-hmm.
From Faustus. Okay. This is also a very important book, but the importance is that this man who really lived during the Renaissance, who made a lot of investigations about astrology and Kabbalah and Tarot and symbolism, later he became like a myth for a lot of writers, musicians too. We have opera too. Wagner also spoke about him. So he became like a myth of everything what happened really in the Renaissance. Everything that triggered this kind of thinking during Renaissance, like saying, what is the rational? What is the God? Or what is the search for a spiritual way of thinking, of believing, of we have probably everybody has heard about Giordano Bruno. Giordano Bruno also was a great influence for Goethe, very, very important, because
and he was a writer. Sorry.
No, Giordano Bruno was a philosopher, a very important philosopher. And he was really a monk, a Dominican monk. And since he was very little, in the monastery, he was a great scholar there. And he was like a rebel. There was another novice who was reading about the Virgin Mary, and he said, no, there are things much more important to read, and that's Copernicus. Copernicus is very important to read. So they threw him out of this monastery. So he went to Swiss and to France and to England. And everywhere he was like this rebel who was talking about Copernicus and the stars and alchemy and things like that. So he was in his history is very, very important. So Goethe was also very much influenced by Giordano Bruno, by him, and at the end they burned him because they thought he was like this this shaman, who used magic and things like that. And it wasn't really that he used magic. He was a very profound writer. He was very much ahead of his time. And he also was very much into art and how it was expressed art. So and during this webinar, I really want to share a lot about what happened with magic and this thinking between the search between the rational and the spiritual. And well, I would like to give you an example that's very nice to see about art and what is the difference between nakedness in the tarot cards and in art. It's very, very different. Also, something very important about the Faustus of Goethe. There are two women that are going to be very important. One is Marguerite, he falls in love, and the other is Helen of Troy. But well, these are the feminine archetypes of nature that we, as astrologers, we also have. We also have this relation, a very profound relation to nature that speaks about that. So for Goethe, it is also very important to see what is the macrocosmos and the microcosmos in this writing. But with the way we see or we perceive, so the women even in the tarot cards represented in the major arcana, like the star or the world too, they are naked. Although they are naked, the nakedness in the tarot cards, the symbolism is very different than the eroticism that nowadays we see. So if we think about like Venus, Mars of Botticelli, the Venus there, it's not really seeing Mars. Venus is seeing outside. So the communication of the nakedness of certain women in art, when they see outside, they are not interested in seeing the male in the painting. It's like, I want the one who is watching the painting is the one that is going to have the communication. One, the communication of the eyes. That's why it is so important to analyze the posture, the eyes, the form. In the tarot cards, the archetypes are in a way like represented. The way if you go and see the tarot cards, the eyes are not watching outside the card. They are going inside, or the look of the eyes are going to the right or are going to the left.
So which card are we talking about?
All
of them? So all the cards, when we look at them, it's not like the eyes are looking right at you. It's like they're looking off, right, left. They're not looking at the reader, is what you're saying.
Yes. No.
Oh,
and
wow.
more if they are naked.
And more so if they're naked. Wow.
The last row of the cards from the devil to the world is where you, in the Marseille cards, these are the ones I'm going to be analyzing more. There you can see the nakedness. And the devil, you can see in a way the representation also, although the devil in the Marseille card, it's blue, but where the sexual part, it's really strong. If you, in a painting, you see the pubic hair, it's erotic.
Mm.
And the cards, you never see the pubic hair.
Mm-hmm.
It's not represented the erotism in the cards. They are not erotic. Although they are naked, what it is really represented in the nakedness of these tarot cards is like in the last row, from the devil to the world. In this part of the hero's journey, you have to go inside of you. And the devil is the first that's going to speak about that, because the eyes of the devil are not straight. The eyes of the devil are going to go. It's like one like here and one like that. That means that he has, if he wants to go deeper into his evolution, he has to go inside. During Renaissance, the images and the symbolism of the images were very, very important, because most of the people didn't read. Luther was the first who made the translation of the Bible and made it more accessible to everybody. And also Luther, without thinking, he said, well, do you know, you have to be more conscious about what you think. So people change their way of thinking. So the Renaissance, it's like a time that's really very, very profound, and more for us as astrologers and tarot and Kabbalists. Also, the Kabbalah had a lot of another like kind of way of seeing things. We have Leonardo da Vinci too. So all these painters, scientists, Renaissance men, they really got very, very deep. So that's something I would like to share, how to see at the cards in a different way.
That's exciting. Yeah, that's amazing. And, you know, for those people, most people know Renaissance means rebirth. And it was a time in Europe, I mean, going back, we could say, started maybe 600 years ago, if not a little earlier.
Yes.
And it went right to about, 200 years ago? So there was that period there, right? The 1500s, 16, 1700s or so.
Not 17 that much, 1500.
Okay, yeah, because while we get into the middle of the 1700s, we start something else, which is called the Age of Enlightenment, which was more scientific. But leading up to that, we had the Renaissance, which was a lot about this idea of rebirth of classical ideas and picking up especially Greek texts. But we see this awakening of spirituality and magic and a desire to learn these things. And all these people that you're talking about, yeah, it was really during the Renaissance that they were able to bring forward and really develop their ideas and share them much more broadly. And a big part of that was Luther. Right? Because Luther was the one who said, no, you go read the Bible for yourself. You decide. And then everybody's like, well, I got to learn to read. And so all these people are learning to read. And then they start reading not just the Bible, they start reading all kinds of other stuff, right? Including magic, including astrology, right?
And well, Luther was against astrology. He was really against astrology and medieval. And it went like a little bit out of his hands. So in the Romanticism, after Enlightenment, there was like Goethe, and there were all these people who thought that nature had people were only part of a macrocosmos. That's something very important, because these writers with it's called Sturm und Drang. It's this part where even people like were saying, "Oh, I'm going to commit suicide," and they were like in this terrible romanticism about. But the important thing about Goethe is that he is like getting again into this part, not this enlightenment where they only painted their things in the studio. No, here it's going out of nature to nature, and where human is only one little part of this macrocosmos. So the German influence there is also like wanting to go back to all the Greek history and the myth. Myth is going to be very important. That myth can be like a religion in a way. And I think it's the important part where they like say, oh, Renaissance had a lot to show us. Let's go back to Renaissance and look for something that goes further. Not only the rational mind, not only this, there are things that go beyond our control, that we can't control. And I think that's something beautiful about what we all do with tarot and astrology. We know that the last word, we do not have the last word. The last word is in the universe and with the gods. So,
wow, that's so beautiful to consider and to contemplate for sure. And so, Ursula, before I let you go, and before I let you go, let me just let everybody know and remind everybody, Ursula is going to be diving really deep into all these topics that she's talking about today over at Synchronicity University as part of the November 2024 speaker series. You've got a little time left from the time that this is publishing to choose your tuition rate, as low as just $5 a class, to learn from Ursula and these other brilliant teachers. But you know, Ursula is one of my personal favorites. I love her so much. I've hung out with her in Mexico City. She's my hermana mexicana. She's my Mexican sister.
right.
And so I know that you have different things coming up. You do a lot of like teaching and nourishing of events in Mexico City. What are some of the things coming up that you're excited about?
Well, what I'm very excited about, very in March, April, May, and June, 4 monks from Thailand are going to stay in my place, and we are going to have meditations every week. So people who are in Mexico, they are going to be welcome to join these incredible monks. They are beautiful, and I'm so happy about that. And well, Maurice is probably also coming. I don't know.
Maurice Fernandez. Yeah.
Maurice Fernandez. He's my great teacher, and I love him. And he wanted to come in November, December. I don't know, but I have to speak to him. But he's probably also coming very soon. And well, we are having a lot of stuff, and maybe you too are going to be speaking in Mexico.
Yes, of course. I miss Mexico City so much. I love Mexico City. It is so alive. And, you know, somebody just encapsulated it perfectly. It's like the ancestral wisdom and spirit and healing. It's just so strong. You can feel it. When you walk, you can feel it in the air. And I think that's part of what I love about it, but it's just a place that is so creative and in places chaotic, which kind of goes together with creativity. And it's just incredible. It's absolutely, I've been to many places around the world, and Mexico City is right up there as one of my most favorite places. And of course, because you are there, it makes it that much more amazing, that much more special, knowing that you've got this incredible space where you do host events and teaching. And then I know I'm going to get hugs and I'm going to get food when I hang out with you. So yes, all of that very good stuff. Ursula, I adore you. I love you. I hope to see you in the spring. I'm going to try to come to one of those meditation classes as well. I love Thailand. I've been there a few times. I'm sure it's going to be an incredible experience. So anybody who's anywhere near there or planning to be near Mexico City, it could be a wonderful thing to participate in. But yes, we intend to see each other there and hug each other there. Yes.
Thank you so much. I love you very much. And thank you for this opportunity to share what I love.
Oh, it's so obvious that you love it. It's like you radiate love of it. Now, can you just quickly tell people, remind people, even though we do put links in the description below, if they are interested in learning more about these meditation classes with monks who are going to be visiting from Thailand and the events that you'll be hosting, where can they find that information online?
I think they should give me a call because I still do not have the program. So probably we are also going to have like cooking classes, Thai cooking classes, and special meditation. Lots of fun with these monks. I still do not know exactly when. I only know they are coming the last week of March. They are going to be staying here in April, May, and the first week of June. So
wow, that's a good swath of time. So everybody out there will be links in the description below. I know I follow Ursula over on Instagram, and she will likely share stuff there as well. Ursula, sure. I love you. I thank you again. I'm looking forward to your class at Synchronicity University. Once again, everybody, links are below. Choose your tuition rate for a limited time. It's going to be a lot of fun, this magical theme we have this November 2024 with Ursula. So thank you for that, Ursula. And thank you, everybody out there, for watching. Until we connect again, take care. Bye.
Thank you so much. Bye.
Perfect.